Let's talk about how to find prospects. Where do you even get these people from? Well, there are a number of different places. So obviously there are Google searches. Obviously, when you look at your ideal client profile, your ideal customer persona, you're going to have a sense of who it is that you should be looking for. So searching for people on Google makes loads of sense. If you want to take this, into the offline world, well, you can go to networking events. You can start to meet people and use what we call in Sandler the 3-foot rule, which is if somebody is within 3 feet of you, you simply ask them what it is they do. You can do free talks and you can speak about what it is you do in local Chamber of Commerce events and things like that. But in the online world, the number one resource for finding people these days and finding prospects is LinkedIn. It's an incredibly powerful resource because there are 560 million users on LinkedIn, 240 million of whom are active every single week. That is an enormous database, and even if you are a company the size of Google itself, actually dealing with 240 million users every single week and 240 million new clients, I suspect that'll probably keep you going. So LinkedIn is the number one resource that you should be using. Now, you're probably aware of the fact there are a number of paid-for versions of LinkedIn which are significantly more powerful than the ordinary free version of LinkedIn that everybody can use simply by registering for an account. And those paid-for versions include things like LinkedIn Recruiter, which is ideal for recruitment agencies, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. There's also LinkedIn Premium, which there are different views as to how effective that actually is and whether you're really getting enough additional benefit from LinkedIn Premium compared to the free version. And my personal view is that if you are using the free version well enough and effectively enough, actually you probably don't need LinkedIn Premium. By the time you have absolutely found the limits of what you can get out of the free version of LinkedIn, then it's probably time to think about an upgrade to something like LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which, whilst it is significantly more expensive at around about £400 plus VAT per year for a single user, it is incredibly useful if you are using it as the powerful prospecting tool that it can be. So how do you get the most out of your free account on LinkedIn? Well, one of the key things with this is that within LinkedIn's free version, you have a thing called the commercial search limit, which means there is a limit to the number of searches you can do in any given month. Now, the clock does reset every month, so you get a fresh set of searches that you can do every single month, but unfortunately that limit does exist, and it's really hard to actually even tell you what that limit is because it's generated by an algorithm, which means that you can search for as many first tier contacts, those people who are directly linked to you, as you like, without ever damaging your search limit or eating into your search limit. But second tier and third tier contacts, well, those do start to chip away at that limit that you've been given. And there's some sort of a mix which feels like it's somewhere between 25 and 50 searches a month, so it's not actually that many. So how do you maximize it? There's a thing called Boolean search. Now, Boolean search has been around for a very, very long time, and it's a way of taking defined search terms and linking them together with linking words, which are and, or, and not, which have to be written in capital letters. The defined terms need to be in speech marks. Now, these are the double quotation marks that indicate speech. And if you have a term within those speech marks, it's a defined term, and LinkedIn's search engine, built-in search engine, will search just for that term. Why is this useful? Well, what it does, it basically builds filters into your searches, thereby refining them, thereby maximizing the number of searches you can do in any given month, which is really useful if you don't really want to go paying for Sales Navigator until you've started to really explore the limits of LinkedIn as a platform. So how does this work? Well, let's give you an example. You might be targeting managing directors of companies, but managing directors don't always call themselves managing director. Some of them might call themselves the MD. Some of them might call themselves the CEO. Some might call themselves the Chief Executive Officer. So if you were to be able to link terms together, to be able to widen your search to include all of those terms, that would be a useful thing to do. So you could say defined term managing director or, in capital letters, OR, or MD, or CEO, or Chief Executive Officer. So you've widened your search term using OR to include all of those potential job titles. Now, it might be that you need to narrow your search terms, in which case what you want to use is either and or not. Both of those linking words will narrow your search term. So if you're looking for something that is both a managing director and an owner, then you can say managing director as defined term and owner. So you are having owner operators who describe themselves as managing directors. Then that narrows the search term to people who fit both of those criteria. If you want somebody who is a managing director but is actually employed by the business, so doesn't describe him or herself as an owner, well, you simply say managing director, not owner. So again, it narrows the search term, but what it does is it does it by excluding the other search term. So in this way, you can use Boolean search to be able to maximize the number of searches you can do in any given month using the free version of LinkedIn. So what I would suggest is that you use the free version of LinkedIn until you start hitting the buffers. And by the way, LinkedIn, as soon as it starts seeing you do this, will send you a message saying, hey, it looks like you're a power user. Have you thought about upgrading to LinkedIn Premium? Based on what I've just said, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I wouldn't necessarily go with it, but I'll leave it to your discretion. Happy searching.